Hi, my name is Mesa. I'm a recent graduate of the University of Utah. I ran track there for 5 years, and I'm going to share a story today that changed my life. And I'll kind of go into that. And I think that I'm sharing it because I think there's a lot to learn from my story. And a friend of mine, like Keith Squires mentioned, my teammate and friend, Lauren McCluskey. It's the first time I've talked about this in front of a big group of people, so bear with me. I'll kind of paint you a picture of my friend's situation. I remember one day in September, we were at practice, and it's an all-girls track team, so we were bantering about anything girls do, mainly boys. And I remember talking to Lauren about if she was talking to anyone, and I remember her response was very excited, actually, and telling me about this guy, and I was so taken back because I was surprised that she was dating someone, because she was very closed off and not one to date. But I remember just being happy for her, and time went on, and about a month later, I hadn't really talked to her about it. I had seen her at practice that day, and I got a call from my coach that night, and it's when her ex-boyfriend got brought up, and I was so confused why my coach was asking me about her ex-boyfriend, who I didn't even know they had broken up. And it's because she was missing, and I'm like, my first response was like, what do you mean she's missing? I saw her not even 4 hours ago. And I'm like, is anyone calling her? And because that's where my brain went, because I was in denial. And he proceeded to tell me the cops were involved. And my stomach had dropped because I knew at that point it wasn't good. And naturally, getting off the phone, I just wanted to call my friend who was on the team to see what she thought about all this. I remember being on the phone with her and both her phones going off, and it was a campus alert that there had been a shooting on campus. And I felt the pause on the other line, and we both are like, did you get that? And in my stomach dropped again, and I think in my heart I knew it was her, but I didn't want to believe it. And I tried convincing myself it wasn't her, this couldn't happen. Like I said, I just saw her. She was alive and healthy. And at this point, it had caught the news attention, and my coach really wasn't giving me much detail. But I was following the news reports, and I remember more and more leading that it was her. But I kept telling myself, no, this can't be her. And it was about 1:30 at night. My fears had been affirmed that it was her. And our college campus is on a hill, and she was at night class, and she was walking to her dorm apartment. And she was on the phone with her mom, and the last words her mom heard her say was, no, no, no. And then silence. And that's when her mom knew something wasn't right. And that's when my coaches got involved, and everything had played out. And the truth is, Lauren met this guy at a bar that he worked at, and he lied to her about many things, including his name, his age, and his criminal history. And when she found that out, she called it off, but he wouldn't take no for an answer. And she reached out for help, and her voice wasn't heard. And it ended in this way. And the truth is, I know so many women out there have been in situations like this, or it could end like this. And this really could could have happened to me. I think that all the time. That could have been me. That it could have been anyone I knew. Because how many people do you meet and you don't question if they're lying to you? And you would hope that he would have taken no for an answer. And it's till now is when I stepped in that SASS class, I realized you have the right to say no. And you can back that no up. And I believe women have a right to take this class and learn so much from it, because I know I did. I was struggling with Lauren's death so much because there's so many aspects I just couldn't grasp. I saw these kind of stories on the news. They didn't happen to me. I didn't know these people on the news, but I knew her. And it was hard to fathom that I wasn't going to see her again or hear her laugh or humor at practice again. And I would say it was like 1,000 pounds just on my chest for months after. And I was scared because I knew it had happened on campus. And I knew that it really could have happened to anyone. And I was worried for myself, but my teammates and every woman I knew. And by some chance, I heard about SASCO coming to the U. And so I didn't even know what it was exactly. I knew they had the educational session and the self-defense, so I decided to go to both. The first one I went to was the educational session. I walked in late because I was running from practice, and I had the most life-changing experience, and I had this unreal connection with Brett and Shannon, and they changed my life so much. And finally I felt like I was at peace, and that weight came off, and I finally stopped fearing everything and feeling scared everywhere I went. And it changed with empowerment, and I just felt so good after that. And I knew in that moment I needed to be involved and be a part of this. And now I'm an instructor in training, almost an instructor, and I believe so strongly in SASS. It changed my life in ways I can't even explain, and I know it can change so many people's lives. And I wish that we had this before this incident, but I know there's so many women it can save, and it's my passion to spread her voice and share her story because it needs to be heard, and I want to honor her. And you'll learn the power in SASS, but it's just an unreal experience that I can never repay them for what they've done for me. So I hope you guys feel as passionate about SASS as I do, and hope you enjoyed my talk. Thank you.
Thank you.